I welcome you all to TEDxAstonUniversity 2021.
I'm not a machine, I'm a man. I'd just like to say I feel very honoured to be here. It's a pleasure to be here, to be talking about my work and talking about the word underestimation. Now, throughout life, people have a habit of underestimating. You know, you may see an ant. An ant is small in stature, but immense in strength. And my shirt was hanging out, I'm putting it back in. Right, so we underestimate sometimes. If you look at Bruce Lee, small in stature, but incredible fighter. And there's a saying, the punch that you don't see is the one that knocks you out. Now, I've learnt one thing from my mother. My mother used to say to me, the diamond's in the dustbin. Because when I was at school, I was told, because of the condition I had, which I still have to this very day, which is autism. I have Asperger's, I have a mild form of autism. And that autism has allowed me to become the greatest micro artist of all time. My mother told me one day when my dog destroyed an ant's nest, I looked at all the ants and I thought they was all homeless. So I decided to build houses for ants, which I did. I built a whole community for ants. Rented out the houses for ants. They never paid me no rent. I'm going to have a word with these ants, you know. So my life began where the teacher told me when I first started school, because I couldn't spell my name, the teacher said to me that I'm the consequence of failure. She told that to the whole school, took me around the whole school. Showed my work to the school, my spelling, because I tried to spell my name, it didn't work. So she had a piece of paper, an exercise book. See, I don't even know what one is. Then she showed all the kids. And I could hear all the kids, you know, making that noise. You know. So that was it. So that was disturbing for me. So I was now not at school anymore. My body was there, my mind wasn't. So now I'm in a quicksand of despair. I'm like a leaf in a cul-de-sac. I'm not going anywhere because I was told that I'm illiterate. And back in the 60s, 1962, they used to do that. So, you know, I got humiliated so bad. So that was it. My life changed. But what happened, what they'd done, they threw a grain of sand into the sea and it created a tidal wave. And this is exactly what happened. That's me, holding a needle, looking into the eye of the needle, looking at my future through the eye of a needle, looking at the world through the eye of a needle, looking at underestimation. And this is what I create. 14 camels in the eye of a needle, all done by hand, working between my heartbeat, working 17 to 16 hours a day, all the way through the night, holding my breath and making sure I don't inhale my own work. Which I have done one time. I'll tell you a little story. I was making one of Alice in Wonderland, and I created the Mad Hatter, even the teapot, the hair, and Alice. A table in the eye of a needle with the tablecloth, food on the table. And what actually happened, my girlfriend at the time had a habit of burning my apple crumble. and I like apple crumble, you see. And she rang me, and she says, "Oh, Willard, I'm afraid the apple crumble's burnt again." I went, "Oh, no." And I inhaled Alice. So in my cavities, I have a little Alice somewhere. But I managed to do it again, and I created it again, which is even better. There you are. I'll just show you something there. That dragon is 24 karat gold, all made by hand. See, when I work to this level because I want to prove to the world just how big nothing is. Every single person in this room here was once the size of a human embryo. We all started small. Doesn't matter how tall, how big we are, we all started small. So I brought the microscopic world to the big world. The diamond is in the dustbin because I was underestimated. I came out of the dustbin because the best things come from where you least expect. And that's a fact. We least expect to see things in certain places, and that's where it is. As you can see, that dragon, you can see, look at the detail. The teeth are all put in individually, the claws, all individually, the scales all made, all one piece, but the claws are all separate, the teeth are separate, they're all implants. I did that because somebody put a challenge on me and they lost the bet. You couldn't make a dragon, I bet you couldn't make a dragon. Big mistake. Right. This one here, during the Diamond Jubilee, I was commissioned to make a crown for Her Majesty the Queen. I told the Queen not to wear it because it's too small. I was invited to Buckingham Palace, met the Queen. I remember going to the palace, I had the letter, got to the gate, and I says, "I've come to see the Queen." And they went, "No, you're not." And I went, gave them the letter, and he was like, "Oh, come through." Down the courtyard, into the reception area. The Queen's secretary sat down and said, "Her Majesty the Queen will be out in a minute." So I started pinching myself to see if I was dreaming. I didn't want to wake up if I was dreaming anyway. So then, eventually, Her Majesty the Queen came. And she says, "I've been so looking forward to seeing this." So I had the microscope presented on a table. I put it down. I stood back. Her Majesty the Queen looked at it. And she says, "It's beyond one's comprehension. How does one make something so small?" She says, "I don't really know how to thank you," she says, "but I've never had something so small that meant so much." And that was a great feeling for me. I have 2 letters from the Queen at home. So now I realise just how big small things are. There's a saying, little things mean a lot. There's a crown again. Now this one here, it's been outlined. This is the smallest sculpture ever made by a human being. That's a baby inside a hair shaved off my head. Yeah. And that baby can fit inside a human egg cell. Smallest sculpture any human being has ever made. And I've got bad news for those who think they can do better, because I can go even smaller. And the reason why is because I'm from Birmingham, that's why. Now, this is how small I can go now. See the baby's head in the small picture there? I can do the baby again on that baby's head. Anybody want to challenge me? I'm just joking. Right. Now, this one here is a motorbike inside a human hair. I called it a golden journey because it was a journey to me creating my first world record. So the motorbike is going inside the hair on my head, which was, I shaved it off and drilled a hole in it and put the motorbike inside it. Now, that's not bad for someone with autism. I must say, when you all leave here, you won't leave the same size because I have a shrinking machine. I'm going to shrink all of you and put you in the eye of a needle because you've been such a great audience. Anyway, I haven't finished yet. Right. See that motorbike there? It took me approximately 6 weeks to do. 16 hours a day, all night long, working all night long, turning into a zombie. I've even burst blood vessels in my eyes because of this type of work. I don't enjoy it, but I enjoy finishing it. The finishing result gives me so much pleasure. I have an exhibition at the Birmingham Contemporary Art Gallery, which is there permanently in Birmingham, because I'm from Birmingham. And it's going to be there for all to see. I'm working on the Pied Piper. I'm going to put 22 children in the eye of a needle and the Pied Piper playing a flute. That's what I'm going to do. Because I want to prove to the world what people with autism are capable of doing, and people who are underestimated are capable of doing. My teacher told me I'd been nothing. She told me that so many times. She put me down so many times. But you know what I've done now? I made a little voodoo doll of her and stuck pins in her. And guess what? She got the point. There you are, the Last Supper. I made the Last Supper because I wanted to. There's Jesus in the middle. I've even put a lady in there because at the end of the day, women rule the world, men think they do. That's right. Without a woman, who would we be? Where would we be? That's why I respect my mother so much. My mother used to say so many things to me to make me understand who I am. She said, you'll get bigger by getting smaller. She used to say so many words to me that would make me understand that I must become who I became. Because I remember carving the whole of the Beatrix Potter characters on a toothpick, even carved the bird on the top, perched in a cage. Showed it my mum. My mum went, in Jamaican, "It all big." So every time I made something, it was too big. So my life, because of my mother inspired me. There you are. Evolution of man. See? The great Albert Einstein, he was autistic. Not autistic, sorry, dyslexic. Sorry, Albert, didn't mean that. So this is what I've done. I've thought him, if he was around today, I think he'd be a poser, you see. So I did that. He's about the size of a full stop in a newspaper. Charlie Parker, the greatest saxophonist of all time. I made one of him. Put him inside a needle playing a saxophone. The saxophone made of 24-karat gold. It has all the keys on it as well. It even plays. I wish. Ladies and gentlemen, the diamonds in the dustbin. And a lot of you here are diamonds in the dustbin. And you will all have your time to shine when they uncover the lid of the dustbin. All those people that try to underestimate you, never let anybody tell you you're not capable of doing anything. Because I'm a prime example of what can be achieved. My work it's like a key, the smallest key in the world, opening the biggest door in the world. And behind that door was my success and a message. And the message is never underestimate. Even when you see a wasp, don't touch him because he'll sting you. Because a wasp stung me the other day and I started to dance like Michael Jackson. So I am so proud, so honored to be here and talking to all you beautiful people about my work and sharing my experience of my life with you. And I've got bad news. I'm getting better. I was born 1957. I'm 64 years old. I used to hang out with Moses. Moses emailed me the other day. He says, "Willard, how are you? Still making your small sculptures?" And I said, Yeah, Moses. So what I'm saying is, I've been doing this a long time. And I am now so happy to know that, it's reached so many people, it's inspired so many people, to understand the beginning of life and where we all come from. The saying, less is more, big things come in small packages. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not there. That all depicts me and my work. They couldn't see what I was. I was not seen. Insects gave me my inspiration. Small things gave me my information. My mum used to say, you can say everything and mean nothing, and say a few words and mean everything. And that's a fact. And that's what I've learned. And I've learned so many things just by my life's experience, visualizing and seeing things and listening. When you have a learning difference, it's hard for you to communicate academically, so you start to listen. You see, my mother told me to have as much manners as possible. Just listen, be the kindest person you can become. Just be the best person you can become. And that's what it's done to me. My work has disciplined me so much so that my attention span is good. I'll tell you a little story. All my stories are little. One time I was on the train because of my way of holding my breath and sort of going into like a meditative state. I got on the train and I was supposed to go to Birmingham International. And I sat on the train. For a minute, I opened my eyes, I was halfway to London. Because what had happened, I went off into this almost meditative trance, that's because of my intense concentration. I can stand still for a long time. And that's what this work has done. It's disciplined me. I've been disciplined. Even surgeons say to me that with your skill, it could be transformed into surgery. They say so many things to me, but there's a few people with brains I'd like to operate on. Perhaps the world would be a lot better when I finish. But you know what I mean? It's made me see things and understand who I am. When you get people high up saying all these things to you and telling you that, this is amazing and what you do is incredible. And so I'm a humble person, I'm very humbled. And, I have not changed. I haven't changed who I am, and I'll always be who I am. Ladies and gentlemen, the diamond's in the dustbin. Thank you.